Well, joining me again, friend of the pod. Where are we at in the world? It's just so crazy these days where we have to do things over FaceTime and Zoom and stuff. But thankfully, Quarantine Conversations, we have associate preaching pastor, whatever his title is, Shawn Hurley.
Executive
preaching pastor, Shawn Hurley.
We don't have an Olympics anymore, Hunter. The Olympics are gone.
I know, the Olympics are gone.
That's the newest thing.
Did you see that Trolls World Tour made $0 in the box office this weekend?
I didn't know there was a Trolls World Tour.
No one did. It made $0. It's because a lot of, I don't know, I mean, obviously you've probably seen, but like a lot of movies are just not releasing anymore, or they're pushing everything back, or they're just going straight video on demand. But Trolls, the sequel to the first Trolls World Tour, it is one of the only films that they're just like, we're going to put it out anyway.
You know, I got to tell you though, if there was one family out there who's going to break the coronavirus quarantine to go see Trolls, it would probably be my family.
To see Trolls.
Right? Like I am the demographic. When they created Trolls World Tour, they thought like Piper's going to make them go see it. So, you know, maybe they're going to make $40.
Yeah, I was going to say $32
from me.
Can't wait.
Yeah. If only you could go see a movie for $32.
Well,
do you know how many movies I would go see if I could take my whole family for $32? So many more than I'm currently seeing.
Well, good news is you don't have to ever go to a movie theater again because the world is canceled. And
think about that. When is the next time you're going to go to a movie theater?
I don't go to movies often, so
I know, right? But there are these things that like the next time you do it is so far away in the future. Like
that's true.
It's hard to even get your head around it.
Yeah, I mean, the Olympics being canceled, first time ever. I mean, tours, TV shows. It's just crazy. There's no category for this. And in church,
right?
Yeah,
in church. When's the next time we're going to be in church? I don't know.
It's so wild.
Yeah.
Speaking of church, how has working from home been for you?
Okay, today's been pretty good. It took me a while to find a chair that I was comfortable like working in. Like that, I had to move a couple of chairs in the house. Piper cried for a little while. Chapman's doing a lot of skateboarding. And there's a lot of dribbling of basketballs. So those are things that don't usually happen like in my office. So I'm trying to write a sermon. So that's been like the level of difficulty has really increased. But
Liam, how's Liam doing with this whole thing?
He's good. Liam's pretty chill. Like he's an introvert. Like for him, a quarantine like is like the dream, right?
Heaven.
Like he just gets to stay inside and use a cell phone. That's Liam's world. That's his best life.
Yep. Don't hate it.
Liam's never been happier than under quarantine.
Imagine. It's crazy. It's crazy. Is a full house hard right now?
Dude, I'm loving it. It's awesome. I really do like it. Like working here is hard, but it really reminds me of like when I was in Israel for the Sabbath. I think I told you this.
Yeah.
Just the whole country shuts down in Israel on the Sabbath. People, they've already prepared their meals. They spend time together. They talk. They linger. Sabbath in Israel was a life-changing experience, and this is like as close as I think that we can get to it. And so I think it's really good just to spend time with family and to talk. Like my family's spending more time at the dinner table just hanging out.
Yeah.
There's not a rush off to the other things. We watched a movie every night. My kids are playing with each other. Like I think those things are so good. So I'm loving this. It's been awesome for me.
That is super rad. What was the last movie you guys watched?
Okay, so last night we watched Top Gun. Oh. And the night before we watched Alien, the first one. And here's the thing. Colin was equally as bored in Alien as he was in Top Gun.
Out of the two movies, which do you prefer?
He said Top Gun. He said he couldn't follow the plot of Top Gun. I was like, it's literally about people in fighter jets. Like it's the simplest plot ever. Like, I don't know. It's a school for fighter pilots. And there's a girl he's trying to kiss. It's the simplest plot. It's perhaps the plot of every movie with fighter pilots. You couldn't follow it. So,
wow. He's now not going to see the sequel, so you can go see that for $32.
Dude, okay, so that actually stresses me out, right? Because I'm really excited about that movie. I don't want to watch that in my house.
No.
I want to watch that in 3D, in 4D. I want to watch that movie in every D that there is. Like, I cannot wait for that movie.
Yeah, you're going to have to.
Technology question for you.
Yes.
I just realized you're in landscape and I am horizontal. Am I ruining the format of your video podcast right now?
No, I have you just in a small screen to the side of the window anyway. So
perfect.
You'll
okay,
see.
good.
It's like we're in the same room, but you got shrunk, a la the dad in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, or the kids in a la
Rick Moranis' best work.
It's a great film. So family time's been good, and I'm happy to hear that. And I'm wondering, and I'm asking everybody this, what parts of this situation, specifically like being home, not being able to go into the office, like what parts of this do you want to carry over into your life moving forward? Like when this is all said and done, what do you still hope to maintain?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that I am usually a very forward-thinking person, meaning I'm thinking about tomorrow, the next week, the next month. It's very difficult for me to be present today. I'm always in the future. And since the future is completely unknown and unpredictable about what's going to happen, that is a relatively fruitless exercise.
Yeah.
And so it very much forces me right into the now. Mm-hmm. And that's just not a place I ever really am. I'm always kind of thinking down the road. So I'm hoping I can maintain some of that. I'm hoping that I work differently. I'm hoping that I'm more present at home in the future. I'm hopeful for all of those things. I've found most of this to be really challenging in my relationship with God. I felt like the disorientation has me outside of the normal patterns of how I usually relate with him. And so I've been fighting to get my way back into kind of normal patterns of time with him. So that's the hard part. Like, I think that's the part that I'm struggling with the most is just deep, meaningful prayer time, deep time in the Word. Those are things I have really really set grooves kind of in the past. I'm trying to figure out what that's like in the present.
Yeah.
So
what has been hard socially for you?
My grandma lives across the street, right? And so we kind of help care for her, and she's 94.
Wow.
And there's just no way to safely go see her, right? We live in all this kind of, my wife's here. I'm talking to Hunter right now. You want to say hi to the podcast?
Oh, hi, podcast.
Hi, Melinda.
You don't want this in there.
She says hello. It's all the family, right? Like, so I think it's just the idea that you can't see one another. We're doing a lot of FaceTiming. Like, we're FaceTiming our family almost every night. And that's been like really good for us too. So even the hard parts, there still are these kind of sweet parts that come through.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's the thing that I keep hearing. I've done several of these now, and people are saying like, I'm FaceTiming and I'm on House Party and I'm doing so many more video calls with people I don't usually talk to than I ever have, because it just reminds you, like, I can't see this person. I don't have the luxury of ignoring them. Like, I want to be intentional. I want to really, really have relationship with them still. And I think that's challenging, but it's also good. It helps remind you, like, relationships take work. And
I don't know if this is true for you, but I feel like one of the things that has happened to me is that when I'm with people face to face, I'll grab my phone, I'll be distracted by a number of things in the room. But when I'm FaceTime with people, maybe it's because my phone is now the medium by which we're connecting, I feel like I'm way more connected to them.
Yeah, I think it helps deprogram some of the things that we use to, and then I talk with high school students all the time where I'm like, oh, you were on your phone, or you were like writing something, or, doing like, and they say, well, that's how I pay attention. I have to be doing something with my hands. And I think we're in quarantine, as we have to talk via FaceTime or on the phone, that will start to deprogram. I hope. And I hope that, I was just talking to the Obispo girls right before we talked, and they were saying that they were hoping that after this season, they would develop deeper patterns of communication. Because you can't just like get mad at Melinda and then leave. I mean, or you can't just like say, Liam, you have to go somewhere else right now. Like, we're all stuck together. And so you have to communicate these things a lot differently. And again, we never would have had to do that if we weren't stuck in this situation. So I think it's just the fruit that's coming out, the seeds that are getting planted are really, really interesting and fascinating. I'm excited to see what happens.
And I know for me, like, one of the things I've found is like, I'm cleaning the kitchen every night.
Yeah.
And like doing like a real cleaning. And that's not what's significant. What's important, I think, is I actually have the energy to do it.
Right.
Right. I think
Yeah.
I regularly deplete myself down to zero because I work really hard. And I bet like for the students that are going to watch this, like between homework and sports and youth group, like I think we live at zero pretty often. And I feel like for the first time I have space and energy and bandwidth just due to being at home.
Yeah.
And that like I can actually, you know, I'm staying up till like 10:30 or 11. I can't tell you how hard that is for me
Yeah.
on a regular week. So I feel like this must be the sort of life that Jesus wants us to live, where we're not so depleted all the time and actually have space for people and for things. And I'm not just redlining it. I just don't think we had any idea how hard all of us were pushing ourselves until we're forced to stay home for a month.
I mean,
you know?
maybe even more at this point.
Yeah.
That's really good. I think that you're right. I've been cleaning and really actively participating in making my home nice and wanting to create and like do things. And it's because I come home after a normal day of work and I can't. And now that I'm here, I can. And I think that's awesome. You have a unique perspective in all this because you're still trying to help run a church. How have congregants responded to all the things that Rolling Hills have been doing? You know, we've been doing online church and we've been doing stuff like that. What are some of the responses you've been getting?
Yeah, so it's been awesome. Like I've not heard a negative thing. I've only heard gratitude for what we're trying to do and appreciation and longing to see one another again and excitement for that day. Here's something cool. You maybe have heard about this from Sam Tabari. So 2 Sundays ago, we did the online broadcast for the first time.
Right.
2,900 computers, tablets, phones log in. That's probably like 6,000 people, right?
Crazy.
So this week, I was really curious as to what it's going to be. 2,800 computers, phones logged in with 800 people who had never been to the church before.
Wow.
So literally, we've got another 800 people for the first time. So that's not the people from last time. Another 800. So the reach of this thing
crazy
is unbelievable, which makes me like personally like really excited. Like, dude, I cannot wait to preach this week. Like, I'm so excited for it.
The most people you
wait
probably ever will preach to.
Yeah, right. Like this is way bigger than like the tent.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because I always felt like the biggest thing I would probably ever do.
Right.
It's not. This sermon I'm going to do from my backyard this weekend is probably the biggest thing, which is just, you know, the sense of humor of God. You know? I don't know. That blows me away.
Let's peel behind the curtain a little bit. What is your strategy going into preaching in your backyard to no audience?
Okay. I really want it to have as little polish as it can possibly have. I hope Piper interrupts me. I hope you hear sirens in the background. I hope that it is not perfect. I think Rolling Hills does a lot of things really well and very slick. And I think that's been kind of who we are. But I think this is a season for kind of humanity and for normalness and humility and for regular life. I hope people really get a sense of having a real conversation with me instead of watching a performance. I think sometimes on the stage at church that we have, it feels like you're watching a performance. And I think sometimes the way I approach it is as a performance. But this coming weekend, I want it to feel very personal, that you and I are sitting across the table talking.
That's rad. I like
that. That's what I want. Yeah.
I think that's cool. I think that's a cool mentality to go in, and I'll judge you based on that. So
someone's always judging. So.
Well, yeah. Most times, especially as preaching on a Sunday morning, get a lot of judges there in the room. Last question. This is the question I'm asking everybody. What's one thing, content, movie, music, podcast that is bringing you joy in quarantine and you want everybody to go engage with?
Oh, okay. So Andrew Bird's been doing a series of Instagram lives.
Okay.
He's been doing one every day, and they've been phenomenal.
He's
if
so
you've
good.
never listened to Andrew Bird, the dude is this phenomenal musician. And the weird thing about Andrew Bird is his freakish ability to whistle.
He's a whistler.
So it's really great. I've been enjoying that a lot. And if you're not following the church social media accounts, it's what everybody's producing. Like, I can't tell you the joy that I take in watching what you've been doing, Hunter, and what, you know, Marsha's been doing with outreach and what Sam's been doing, what Barker's been doing. Like, it's like, I feel like everybody's having like their most innovative moment at the same time. And dude, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of us. I'm grateful to God. Like, so follow all the stuff that the church is doing. It's been really cool.
It's been fun. And it's been fun texting friends who work at church or who are involved in their church and like saying, hey, what have you guys been doing? And then watching videos and like, oh my gosh, I never would have thought of that. And that is so fun. And I really love it. And I'm going to pitch this to you because I think you would help me flesh this out a little bit. I was driving with Megan 2 days ago and I was saying, this feels a little bit like a year of Jubilee in the Bible.
Say it again. I lost you for a second.
My internet connection's unstable, it said. I've pitched this to Megan and I want you to maybe reflect on it. This feels like the year of Jubilee a little bit in the Bible, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Like we're resetting, we're pulling things back. Like we're not evicting people who can't pay their power bill, and we're halting interest on student loans, and like the secular forms of entertainment are being, paused, and we're supposed to turn inward and stay at home and do things that matter at home. Like it is a cosmic reset on a very huge level. And I think that there's something to celebrate there.
That's cool, dude. I like that a lot. I hadn't had that thought for 1 second yet, but I think you're right. I think Jubilee was really all about Israel refocusing itself on the Lord and going back to his original purposes. And maybe that can be it for us too,
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. People are saying like, this is going to be this generation's like 9/11, right? Like this is this generation's like life altering moment. But I just think it's so much bigger than 9/11. I can't think of a time when the world has gone through something like this. So I think I've had moments. I've had like one moment of terror about this whole thing.
Yeah.
one profound moment of terror. But I think for mostly, I've just been I'm not excited about the illness. I'm not excited about any of that stuff. I'm just excited about what God's going to do, because I really believe it's going to be really big.
Yeah. And I think we will be talking about what comes out of this season for the next 20 years. I mean, the church will look different, and it'll be because of this.
Yeah. And this is what I try to say this to everybody I talk to in ministry. What a privilege that God chose us to live in this time. Like we could have lived at any point in history, and yet to be here now for this is such a unique privilege, that somehow God has a role for us to play. There's something for us to contribute. There's something for us to do, that we are uniquely placed by him in this time, in this place, in this church. And God always had this moment as being a part of that reason.
Wow. That's
what a
good.
privilege, Yeah. It's just really cool.
There you go. That's a great note to end on. Shawn, enjoy your work day. I'm getting back to work, boss. Don't worry. Dude, excited to see your sermon this week, and excited for everything to be happening. And we'll see you in person sometime soon.
Yeah. Love you, Hunter. You're great at your job.
Thank you, Shawn. Bye.
See you, man. Bye.